So, as you can see from the start of this video, this is a summary of everything that I baked this week. Now, you might have actually been able to tell, I haven't done much baking lately. I kind of fell out of motivation of doing anything, even something I love, like baking. And then I was speaking to my friend and she was like, Grace, why have you not been baking lately? And I was like, you raise a valid point. I just had no motivation. But honestly, since this past week, I have regained so much love for baking, but also just for everything else that I'm doing. Like, because I've been baking and I love baking, it's made me have a zest for life for everything. So let's get started with the first things I make. I did make some cinnamon rolls on Monday, but I was actually filming that for a Grax Snacks little reel on Instagram. I have a little foodie account called Grax Snacks where I post all the fun food stuff. So you can go and check that out if you want. But let's crack on with the rest of the video. Good morning, everybody. So this morning's bake is some brioche. I've left them in the fridge to prove overnight. So I made the dough last night and then I just shoved it in the fridge. Oh yeah, she's doubled up real nice. And I'm going to make them chocolate chip because I fundamentally believe that chocolate makes everything better. I just got the dough out and I've punched it down. This is reminiscent of old times, isn't it? The sun is shining. It hasn't shined in what feels like years and years. I haven't seen the sun. To cut them into 65 gram balls. 65 grams for a girl. I was going to try and sing a song like that, but no songs came to mind. Normally I can make anything into a song. Give me a word. Like pan.
So here we have a plan. What's gonna be the plan? I don't even know which way I should go.
Maybe we're going to become a songwriter. As I said, we're going to make these into 65 gram little balls. Gram for gram. I'm actually going to cut them out first. It's really weird because obviously the dough's freezing. I have my balls. You just want to roll them into a nice little round, like so. So you basically do like a little claw action with your hand and you roll it round. Push this bit into the dough. And then you'll get a nice round guy like that. Yeah, you can do two-hand if you really want, but I don't love doing two-hand because I feel like they're never quite as good when you do two hands. Okay, so here are the little rounds. And what I'm going to do now, the recipe says to brush it with egg and milk before they prove and after. But I'm worried that the egg and milk are going to make them prove funny. But I'm going to follow exactly what the recipe says, but my heart's saying not to do this before proving. Okay, I have brushed them with their egg and now they are going to prove for an hour, which is perfect because today's actually sunny for once. So I'm going to go for a little walk and then by the time I come back, I'll be ready to preheat the oven and get them into the oven. So that's really, really flipping exciting. So go to sleep, my little babies, and prove well, please. Literally just got back from my walk and my timer went off. Here are our little babies. Okay, they are out and, oh, by the way, I forgot to say, I had to pull them out midway through because I forgot to give them a little glaze. So don't forget to do the second egg wash, but they're looking pretty good. Okay, this is the brioche after it has been baked. They're lovely looking. Don't they look good? I feel like they look really, really yummy. I can confirm these are so yummy. Like, look how light and fluffy this is in the middle. Right, we are going to bake our next thing. And today we're going to be making some cream egg brownies because I have my friend coming round for dinner tonight. And one of her favourite foods in the whole entire world are cream eggs. So I thought, hey, let's shake it up. And our dear, dear beloved blog writer Jane's Patisserie, we're gonna use her recipe because honestly Jane's Patisserie recipes have never let me down. My sister said one time it let her down with this cheesecake recipe, but I don't believe it. Jane wouldn't, she just wouldn't. You have to freeze the mini cream eggs, so they were actually freezing overnight. I had to unwrap them all and they're chilling right here. Little cream eggs, they're all frozen. Oh, feels weird, they're kind of sticky. Huh. Step numero uno is to melt our dark chocolate and butter. And I don't know where any of our bowls have gone, so I'm having to do it in some microwave safe Tupperware. You can also do this in a bain-marie, but I can't be faffed to set all that up, so I'm just gonna do it. But make sure you do it in 30-second intervals. Otherwise, you'll get burnt chocolate, and nobody wants burnt chocolate. We've all been there. I feel like everyone's done it at least once in their life. I've done my least favourite task, which is the greasing and lining of the pan. I hate doing it. Right, we have our eggs and our sugar, and they need to whisk until they are doubled in size, apparently. Right, she is nice and doubled in size. Now we add in our melted chocolate, and we have to be patient here, which I'm not the best at being patient when it comes to baking, because I just want it here and now. But we have to fold in our melted chocolate, so I'm gonna try and be as patient as I possibly can. We folded in the chocolate and butter, and now we're gonna fold in the sieved mixture. Now we add our mini cream eggs. Do you think they're happy to be a part of this? Or do you think that they would just getting eaten like normal? What do you reckon? Do you reckon they're like, yippee, I'm actually getting put to good use? Or do you reckon they're not vibing that? And we're adding also our different types of chocolate. This is like really chocolatey. If you are craving a bit of chocolate, maybe on that side of the month, then this could be the right thing for you. And then we just fold that in again. Okay, this is what it looks like before baking. It was actually quite hard to press out. I think because obviously it has frozen cream eggs in it, it like hardens the dough a little bit. But we're gonna put it in the oven. Right, I think the brownie is done, and we just let it cool in the tin. Okay, cream egg brownie. You melt white chocolate and add a bit of orange food colouring, and then you put your cream eggs all on top. Look at it, doesn't it look good? Okay, I'm gonna cut it into the 16 squares. Jane's patisserie. You know what you're doing, don't you, my sweetheart angel? Oh my word, here you go. Here's what the cream egg brownie looks like. I'm gonna have to do a taste test now, I am. Whoa. Nearly lost the top then. Oh, it's there. The brownies are good, but do you know with brownies, I always feel like they're the better the next day when they've kind of had time to like sink into themselves. So they're quite moist. Can you see? They're quite a moist brownie. But once they've had time to like sink into themselves, I feel like they'll be good. And I want the cream egg, the mini cream eggs, I feel like haven't got as melty as I would like. But we're just gonna run with it. So that is the cream egg brownie. And actually now I'm gonna make those scones that I was telling you about for my sister, because I know she really likes them. I hope she still likes them. I haven't made them honestly in time, but I'm just really, as I already probably explained, I'm really getting back into baking. I kind of, not that I fell out of love with it, but I think because I just did it so much throughout lockdown because there was nothing else to do, I was kind of a bit like, ugh, I want to do something different. But it's been about 3 months since I kind of had stopped baking, and now I'm back and I feel like I'm loving it. I'm back in the flow of it, and I just don't want to stop now. Okay, so I'm getting everything weighed out. Get the feta, the olives and the sun-dried tomato. You have to reserve some of the oil from the sun-dried tomato, the flours. However, I don't have any mustard powder, so I'm actually just going to add a bit of whole grain mustard, and hopefully that will work the same. It's a really easy recipe, so we've got everything in there, and then we basically work in the egg and the milk. It's so easy. The dough is a classic scone dough, so now I'm going to stamp out the cottage and put it on the tray. So you brush a little bit of egg wash over them, and then you crumble up some feta, and here are the finished scones, looking beautiful. I mean, we'll obviously have to bake them. Also, what's interesting about this recipe is this actually came from, there was this women's tea and cake afternoon thing that we had at church, like honestly about 15 years ago. And my sister was like, have you tried those scones? And everyone bought a different cake or a different baked good. And I was like, no, why? And she was like, they're the best thing I've ever eaten. So I went to the back and I saw that they had sun-dried tomatoes, olives and feta in, and I googled the heck out of that recipe to try and find it, because I didn't know who bought them. And isn't it weird, that person who brought that recipe, I will never know who to thank for the recipe, because it's just like, you don't know what effects you've had on someone else. And forevermore, this is like a recipe, one of our go-to recipes, and I don't know who to say thank you to. Isn't that so wild though? That like, I don't know, it's just so interesting. You don't know the effect that you're having on someone. So, hey, don't discount where you're at right now. I'm gonna put these suckers in the oven. Let's bake them. And this is what the little sconies look like after baking. Okay, I have cut into one, and as you can see, they are filled with all of the goodies, and I'm very happy with how they turned out. I want to try and see if they taste how I remember, because I honestly haven't had them in so long. Good morning everyone. Today's bake, I'm going to be making this cinnamon apple cake because I saw these apples in the fruit bowl and they're a bit floury. You know when an apple just doesn't have a nice texture at all to eat? Yeah, that was the case. So I didn't want these apples going to waste. So then I went on my Pinterest, bada boom, bada bing, Fit Waffle. I don't know, you've probably all seen recipes from Fit Waffle because they're all over the internet. There was a recipe for this cinnamon apple cake, and I thought, hey, let's give it a whirl. I know my brother-in-law, like, look at that. Can you see the brown? It's so gross. My brother-in-law and my dad will probably love this. So I am always dubious when I do recipes that involve cooked fruit, because they normally take ages and ages to cook in the oven, and it's not a fun experience. So I am using my Airfryer one that has the bake setting, and I'm going to see if that is better, because my oven sucks. Where's my apple corer? I found my apple corer. Oh, this is a bad apple. Brown sugar that I need for this recipe is one big clump. You know, it won't melt. So I'm doing the little hack that I think I've definitely shown you before, where you get a paper towel, you wet it, get it nice and damp, over the top of the sugar, like so, and then you zap it in the microwave for like 30 seconds, and it should go soft. Look at this, lovely, nice and soft now. Okay, we have our cinnamon apple cake mix, and we put it in our pan. Okay, this is what we've done. We've swirled in the cinnamon sugar mixture, and now we bake it in the oven. Now we have to clean all of this up. My least favourite part, but let's do a little, if I do a snappy thing, then hopefully it means that I'll get everything cleaned. Okay, you ready? 3, 2, 1. I mean, it doesn't actually look any much cleaner because I had just had breakfast, and I've made the icing as well. It's this like milk glaze one that you put on as soon as the apple cake comes out of the oven. I've showered. I've tried to do like a slick pony today, but if I'm honest, it just looks greasy. I don't know how people do slick ponies. I need someone to teach me. But the cake has just gone off. I actually had to put it in for an extra, I think it was 15 minutes. So I'm hoping that it is all done now. Pour this lovely milk glaze on top whilst it's hot. So, should we do it? Let's do a little poury moment. Right, I've put the milk glaze on. I think we just leave it to cool. So, do your thing. Okay, here is the apple cinnamon cake. I'm going to cut it up. I'm intrigued what this would taste like. Okay, this is what it looks like. Potentially looks dry, but I don't fully know. Should we give it a taste? Even though I don't love. You know, obviously, we all know I'm not the biggest lover of apple, but I'm gonna try it. That's good. I am making some mini egg rolls because I just wanted to. That is all. Honestly, since I found my life again in baking, I'm so much happier. I'm more productive. Because I'm just doing what I love. Loving what I do. It just is so therapeutic and just helps me to get all my anger out. I'm joking. Well, I did just have to get all my anger out because, oh, wait, I need some flour. Hang on. Because I had to crush mini eggs. I don't know if you've ever had to crush mini eggs before, but it's a lot to deal with because they're so hard to crush up. So I just absolutely annihilated them with a wooden this. I just went bam, bam. I just absolutely crushed them. But anyway, I'm making my little mini rolls, and of course, You guessed it. What would a Grace baking week be without a bit of a Jane's patisserie recipe? Literally love that woman. Oh, we've already done one. We're already the cream egg brownies. Spread that all over. Oh, can you see that? How satisfying is that, please? And then we sprinkle on top how many mini eggs? Some of them are still whole because I could not crush them. They're just uncrushable. I think you have to be the Incredible Hulk to be able to crush a mini egg, honestly. They're really hard to crush. And then we're just gonna roll her up. So you wanna make sure that you get lots of nice little lines, thinly, tightly rolled. Actually, at one of the bakeries that I did work experience at, I was on like cinnamon roll duty, and the amount of cinnamon rolls I used to have to roll up is ridiculous. Like, the table for the cinnamon rolls starts about here, and then just about over here. So I'd just be like roll, 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 roll. Then go roll, 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 roll. Honestly, I've rolled many a cinnamon roll in my time. So here's the mini rolls, and then we'll leave them to prove. I actually halved the recipe, so we've only got 6. So I'm about to put them in the oven, ready to bake. Here are the mini egg rolls. They look pretty good. Apple and cinnamon cake went down an absolute storm. Didn't it, Banks? Oh, she hates me. She actually hates me. She wants to see me get rid of. And I am going to be baking, I think this is the last thing I'm baking this week, because at the weekend it's going to be a birthday, and my friend is actually making the birthday cake, not I. So I'm not on birthday cake duty for once, which feels very novel, because there's this birthday cake that I normally get requested to make, which is a real special one. I almost don't want to share the recipe because it's so good, but don't worry, I won't gatekeep. Maybe one day I'll share the recipe because it's phenomenal, it really is. But for now, I've gone to the old favourite. That is mezza bezza, and I'm gonna make something that's iconic, flapjack. The first ever video I posted on this channel was flapjack recipe, and it was part of my media homework to see who could get the most views on a recipe, on a video. And I posted my flapjack video, and I think it like weirdly just popped off, and I was like, and then I was so embarrassed that it popped off because it was like a little flapjack video, and I thought no one else would take that homework seriously, that I made a different video and didn't show the flapjack one because I was so embarrassed. So that is the story of my channel and why I started posting on YouTube. There you go, little insider fact for you. So this is the recipe. You know what, I'm saying all this, but I don't actually know if we have any oats. I said you can change things. You can obviously make it vegan by using dairy-free butter. I will say, be careful with what dairy-free butter you use, because some of them aren't very good at holding the mixture together. When I was dairy-free, I tested out loads, and I think the best one I found was, I'm going to put it on screen, it was like a block of butter, and it's the most like butter that I found. So that one's really good. So that's what I'm going to make right now.